I was not offered a job by Fox. I went over and begged, please hire me. I can't stand it anymore.
Now, you've become a very popular person on the Fox network, both in terms of your show and the segments you do with Bill O'Reilly. Why did you leave ABC, though?
Because it sucked there. They were hostile to these ideas that have made us prosperous and I can consider so important. I mean, they tolerated me for years. I got good ratings, so they put this stuff on. They sort of held their nose and put it on. But by the end, they were saying, oh, you're predictable, Stossel. All you want to do is libertarian economics all the time. I don't want to watch that. You already did that. I did a piece called Stupid in America, which got good ratings about school choice. 5 years later, there was a real school choice movement. I said, let's do a follow-up. We're not. Michael Jackson died, and we want to interview his sister and his mother, and we have to do a show on how he's still dead. And I was not offered a job by Fox. I went over and begged, please hire me. I can't stand it anymore.
The left is often good at proposing solutions to problems, even if those solutions won't actually do much to solve the problem, or even if the problem doesn't exist. So how do they have that success? How do they always piggyback on government solving the problem at the end of the day?
Well, that's what this sort of no they can't is about, that they promise this stuff. Elect Obama, yes we can cure poverty and stop the oceans from rising, as he said in one speech. And our instinct, I think, is to believe in the central planners. I mean, it was nuts at the Obama election. It was like he was a magic politician who was going to do these things. And the promise is all people pay attention to. People have lives. And the failures, which are again and again everything, you really have to pay attention to notice.
So how do conservatives, who often have a more free market and less regulatory approach, get their message out in ways that counter this prevailing government knows best attitude?
I like graphs. I have some in the book that I think, tell the story. Under Clinton, the OSHA director had a graph. Look how workplace deaths have dropped since OSHA was created. What then makes it, and they had, but what makes it interesting is that the second graph shows before and after OSHA, and the slope of the line is the same. Free people make things better on our own without government. But we have to tell people that.
You've done a great job in your profession of telling stories and being able to communicate complex economic issues in ways that the American people can understand. How important of a factor is that in communicating some of the ideas that you have?
It's very important. I don't think I'm that good at it. Arthur Brooks at AEI talks about how moral arguments for capitalism are much more effective than the numbers and the graphs. But I'm not good at that. I gravitate to the numbers and the graphs or the gimmicks, like when Paul Krugman said 9/11 would cause an economic boom because of the rebuilding, and Nancy Pelosi said that about the earthquake in Haiti. It's the Bastiat principle of the seen versus the unseen. So how do I illustrate that? Well, I buy from a junkyard some old TVs and cars and go there with a sledgehammer and smash things and saying, oh, stimulus, I'm going to create wealth and smash things because they'll have to replace these. And then you can see the Bastiat principle of you got to take that money that's now going in to replace this stuff might have been used for something else, but that's the unseen that the reporters don't get.
I want to ask you, the president was on the stump yesterday talking about the Buffett rule and income inequality yet again. It's clearly not going to do anything to the deficit, but the White House keeps bringing it up, and it's probably going to continue to do this. So is it resonating?
I would think so. It's more complicated to say it's only going to raise $2 billion out of the $1.5 trillion deficit, and it might kill the golden geese. And some of the rich people are going to produce less wealth, innovate less, create fewer jobs. Some of them are going to hire lawyer tricksters to dodge the taxes anyway. But it took me a long time to say that. It takes Obama a second to say minimum tax for millionaires. So, I live in the shallow media world, and on a subject like that, shallow wins.